Okay, we have about 1 more minute before we get started. All right, thank you everyone. The time is now 12 o'clock noon, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Veronica Parker with AEBG TAP. Today's webinar is on data submission guidelines for Q4 and end of year reporting with Martha Perez of CASAS. She'll get started in just a couple minutes. As I stated before, the PowerPoint is available to download in the resources pod. If you select the file titled AEBG Data Submission Guidelines End of Year 2017 through 18 and you select download file, the file will appear in whatever browser your computer uses to download files. You can save it to your desktop, you can print it out if you have a couple of minutes, or you can just take notes on the computer, but it is available to you. The chat pod, the webinar PowerPoint presentation as well as the recording will be available on the AEBG website later on this afternoon. So if you need to come back to this PowerPoint, the PowerPoint or the recording for future reference, it will be available to you. And I'll put in the URL into the chat pod on where it will be located for easy access. This webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions, please be sure to post those questions into the chat pod. Again, we are monitoring for technical difficulties. So if you're experiencing any technical difficulties at all, please be sure to let us know in the chat pod, and either myself or Melinda Holt will be on hand to assist you with your technical difficulties. If you're hearing an echo at this time, a quick fix to remedy that is to just log out of Adobe Connect and come back in. And when you come back in, you're going to select listen only, and that should fix your technical difficulties. But like I said, if you're experiencing any technical difficulties, please be sure to let us know. And again, attendance is taken during our webinar, so please be sure to let us know if you're in the room with multiple people. We would like to account for everyone during this webinar. So if you're in a room with multiple people, please be sure to let us know. Immediately closing this webinar, an evaluation will appear on your screen. Please be sure to take a couple minutes to fill out this evaluation. It's our way of communicating to Martha your feedback about this webinar. We address technical assistance and professional development needs as well. So please be sure to fill out the evaluation. It's very useful for all of us and for future technical assistance and professional development planning. Now I will turn it over to Martha, who will get us started with today's webinar. Martha?
Thank you so much, Veronica. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. I hope everybody is doing well this morning. My name is Martha Perez. I am with the CASAS Technology Support Team, and we're going to talk a little bit about AEBG and the data submission guidelines for this end of this year, the 2017-18 program year that started back on July 1st on 2017 and ended on June 30th. It's just last month. All right, so let me go ahead and start on this AEBG guidelines, as I'm going to try my best to monitor the chat pod, but if I don't address any of, your question, Veronica and Melinda will help me monitor this chat pod. All right, so due date. Our due date for this end of year data submission is August 1st. And this will include data that will include data from July 1st to the end of the program year, which is June 30th. So include all that data, all those students that have been attending your program throughout the whole program year as of July 1st until the end of the year. So the deliverables that are due are the fourth quarter end of year data TOPS Pro Enterprise and the fourth quarter end of year AEBG data integrity report. Okay, so what does these two reports consist on? Or there's no two reports. There's only one report, which is the AEBG data integrity report. And because your TOPS Pro Enterprise data, it's hosted on our online servers, there's nothing that you need to send us. You don't need to send us your data because we already have it hosted on our online servers. But as soon as we get the AEBG Data Integrity Report through email, fax, or a hard copy to CASAS, we will consider as we just received your TOPS Pro Enterprise data, and then we can go in ahead and pull out the data from the server, from the online server, by just receiving the AEBG Data Integrity Report. Now, preparing your TOPS Pro or TE data. Okay, so we'll need to enter every student that is enrolled in or that has received services from an ABG funded program. Okay, what does that mean? So the student will need at least an entry record for TOPS Pro Enterprise. If they are an ESL student, we have that program, ESL, ABE, and ASC, they will also require a pretest. Now, if a student has an entry record and they have a pretest because they are enrolled in an ESL, ABE, and ASC program, or ASC, then a post-test, if they have enough class hours for those three programs, ESL, ABE, and ASC, then they can have a post-test, hopefully if they have enough hours. Now, also an update record for those same students. If the student leaves the program or there are some learning outcomes that were made throughout his progress, then an update record may also be required for that student. And again, if they are enrolled in the ESL, ABE, and ASC programs, then attendance hours as well, they would be required for those students that pass through your agency. All right. Now, what does the entry record consist of? Okay, so those students who are enrolled in one of the 7 AEBG program areas, you can collect student name and address at the very minimum. Demographics are also available to collect for those students enrolled in one of the 7 ABG programs. Labor force status, barriers to employment, date of entry into classes and programs, and special programs, if any. Now, these are for those students who are enrolled in any of the 7 ABG program areas. For students who receive services but are not enrolled in any class, then student name and address can be collected, as well demographic information about the student, labor force status, barriers to employment, date services received, and services received update on record. On the side, from your program entry record, on item number 8, you can collect the entry record here. It's for services that they have received, either supportive, training, or transition if you use the program update record.
Martha?
Yes.
Hi, we have a question. Stephen Chan wants to know, non-credit courses enrollment is considered ABG, right?
Non-credit courses are considered ABG.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your question, Stephen. Right. To continue here, talking about pre and post tests. Pre and post tests are required for all those students who are enrolled in either ABE, ASC, and ESL programs to measure progress. Assessments that are approved the assessments that our ABG agencies can use are the ones approved by the NRS for AEBG, which are, of course, CASAS assessments, and any other assessments that are also approved for the ABG by NRS are listed on the AEBG website, and those would not be CASAS specifically. So those are available on the AEBG website as well as with many other resources. There's a wealth of resources on the AEBG website as well. Now, the update record. Update records are available from to order on our website or also on an electronic form. Now, what is included on the update record? The date of the update, which is very important, and there can be more than one in a program year. So a student can have several updates depending on what activity the student does. You can also create an update record for them. You can also include the class ID in that update record, the instructional program, and of course, very important, the services that they received. Whether they are enrolled in a class or in a program or not, the services that they received, it's very important for you to record them. And another thing that you can also record on the update record is the learner's results. Learner's results are available on the update form. Let's see. So learner's results on item number 9, if you're looking at a TOPS Pro Enterprise Scantron sheet, but they're also available that either they have work learner results or education results or family community results. They should all be marked in there. Either they got a job or they passed the GED or they transitioned into credit or transfer into credit classes, then that should always be marked in there. As well as the update record should be completed if a student left your program. This is very important because once they leave the program, you want to update the record and you need to list the date that they left as their last day of completion. So the system can update that student's record. Okay, with the status. All right. Looks like we don't have any questions. All right. Now, attendance hours. So for those students who are enrolled in the ABE, ASC, or ESL programs or other programs that you are recording hours and they have class enrollments, and if you have a third-party attendance system, such as the ones that are listed in this screen right here, we have ASAP, Schoolhouse, AIM, Banner, to just name a few. These do an electronic handshake with TOPS Pro Enterprise. So once you record all your attendance on your system, you can very well grab that information through a CSV file, export it into a CSV file, and you can grab that file and import it into TOPS Pro Enterprise. It looks like I have a question. Before continuing, I'd like to read it out. It says, you mentioned electronic form. How is the electronic form connected to the database? The electronic form is available on our website in TOPS Pro Enterprise. Once you go into the student's demographic record, you can click on a button that says Add Entry/Update Form. That would very well substitute the TOPS Pro Enterprise entry update record that you can order on a Scantron format, a hard copy. And in a slide a little bit later, I'm going to show you a screenshot of that program entry update form. That would be the electronic version. And it says that clarification, it is only accessible through TE, or can it be attached on an API? It is only accessible through TOPS Pro Enterprise. Okay. Thank you for your questions, Lila. All right, so we're talking about attendance hours and how these systems, third-party attendance systems, would do this electronic handshake with TopsPro Enterprise so it can welcome all that information that you've previously recorded. So this would need to go to your attendance system and include all attendance hours as of July 1st of 2017 to the end of the year, which is June 30th, 2018. And once when using your third-party attendance, you would export your files from that system in a CSV format, comma-separated value files. And then you would save it onto your desktop. And in TopsPro Enterprise, using the Tools menu, you would open your import wizard to import that data. It is a very friendly wizard that will guide you step by step, give you instructions, and if you still have questions about it, you can contact us on our tech support. At the end of the presentation, we have a phone number and an email address that you can contact us with any technical difficulties you may have by importing data into your system, TopsPro Enterprise. Okay. Improved literacy skills for high school diploma. Now, this is fairly new, the progress towards diploma. Now, those participants who improve their ASC low to ASC high on any of the NRS approved assessments, then those who completed enough high school credits to advance from one level from ASC low towards the ASC high, which we consider the ASC low to be around the 9th and 10th grade. And if they moved on and progressed through the 11th or 12th grade levels, which would be considered ASC high. Now, their instructional program must be enrolled on a high school diploma program, and their instructional level itself, it should be either ASC low or ASC high. And this can be done through a pretest. When the student takes a pretest at those levels and they score high enough within those ASC low or ASC high level, the system may automatically gather that information and put that student in that instructional levels, ASC low or ASC high. But you may also self-report that student on the entry record on field number 18. If you have an entry record near you, you can take a look at it, and on item number or field 18, you'll see that instructional level for ASC low and or ASC high, and you can self-report that. Again, this is also included in the electronic version of the entry update record in TopsPro Enterprise. And you may also self-report a student with any of those two instructional levels. Now, if the student is ASC low, the learner achieves the outcome by marking self-report ASC high or earn high school diploma on their educational results. And if the student is ASC high, then the learner achieves outcome by marking earned high school diploma only. Okay? So by marking that educational result will allow the student to achieve that outcome. Okay. I see another question. It is this only for high school students? And what about ESL students? That is a very good question. Thank you so much, Maria. This is only for high school students or students who are in these instructional levels. Either they're scoring ASC low or ASC high on their pre-tests, and then they must have an instructional program for high school diploma. If a student is enrolled on an ESL program, but yet scoring at these levels, then it's probably another question, like an internal question on whether the student should really be enrolled on an ESL program, because they're probably scoring higher than ESL levels. I hope this makes sense. Okay. So I'm watching out my pod for more questions. So hopefully this would make sense. I'm going to wait a few seconds in there and hopefully it's understood. And then it says, what if the students score less? Do we leave blank? Okay, for that question, yeah, you can either self-report a student that is in those levels, instructional levels, that's ASC high or earn high school diploma. I'm sorry, ASC high or ASC low. But they can also get that from their score. If you pre-tested the student and they scored within those levels, then you don't have to self-report them. Okay. For more information on charts, NRS charts, and educational functioning levels, you can go to our website or you can contact us at tech support and we can show you where those charts are for the NRS levels and educational functioning levels. Okay, looks like we have more questions about the same topic. Let's see, what if the student scores less? Do we leave blank? Okay, I already addressed that. In the update record, I've been updating since last reporting or last update is not accumulated. Is this still okay for the reports? In the last update record, we've been updating since last reporting. Not sure if I understand this question correctly, but you're probably talking about attendance hours and the categories we have, which could be accumulated or student update hours. If you do a last import with grabbing the whole amount of accumulated hours, which means including the total amount of hours throughout the program year for a particular student, then this should be sufficient to count all the hours of instruction that student received throughout the program year. Notice using the accumulated export hours. Okay, looks like we have a lot more questions. How many times per year it is recommended that students are tested? Well, CASAS recommends to pre-test the student upon their arrival to the program, and then after 70 to 100 hours of instruction, if possible. I know sometimes it's really hard for a student to continue coming to classes, but if they are in the program for that long, after 70 or 100 hours of instruction, if you post-test them there, you would get better gains for those students. So it really depends on how much instruction they receive. Okay. Another question. Oh, thank you. You're welcome, Maria. It says, Kathy, Gaither, can you please provide the pre-assessment score that does not require a post-test? Yes, that is actually on our website, on those tables that I was actually mentioning, the NRS educational functioning levels in the CASA's website. I can definitely provide a link to casas.org if you haven't accessed our website, casas.org. Let me go here and look into my screen. Or maybe I can post this a bit later on how to get the educational functioning levels, the tables, NRS. Let me see here really quick. Okay, scale scores, here they are. All right, so I'm just going to post it really quick. Okay, and then I see another question. When 2017-18 program year started, CASAS recommended importing daily hours. Should I import attendance by accumulated hours and not daily? That is a choice that every agency opts for. You can do daily attendance and not necessarily do it every single day, because I know that is a hard task to do and it's time consuming. So you can, and especially if you have a large program, you can do daily attendance. You can do it weekly and just consider the amount of, daily attendance, usually it's for that, to select the day that the student attended. But We probably on some trainings that was the recommendation to import daily hours, but I know that there could have been uh, a bug within one of the attendance systems that got to import records in a different category that wasn't necessarily the one that agencies would be selecting. So if you already have daily attendance hours and you would do an overall update accumulated right at the end of the year, that would be sufficient to import all those hours that the students spent on the program and would also include those hours that were entered separately on a daily category. And we can make an appointment, Linda, if you like, so we can talk extensively about attendance hours and verify your data for a more accurate response. Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, we can continue discussing that. I can set up an appointment with you if you like, so we can verify your data. Okay. Okay. So this improved literacy skills for high school diploma, very important with the educational functioning levels. Yes, please go ahead and send me an email. And I posted a couple links. The last one I posted is about, it will take you to these scale scores and NRS educational functioning levels on our website. Okay. All right. Now, importing data from a third-party system. Okay, so now that you've grabbed your data or you exported your data from your attendance system and you placed them on your computer, now how would you import those into TOPS Pro Enterprise? Well, it's very simple. We just need to open the wizard and go to the Tools menu. Okay, just make sure that they are in a comma separated value or CSV format. Once in TE, go to the Tools menu and then click on third-party import wizard, which is showing here in the graphic in the picture, and then just follow the directions on the wizard to import those WIOA import formats. Most likely is that it's going to ask you to browse for your file, and you'll just need to select the proper folder where you saved it on your computer. If you chose your desktop, then go to your desktop and select your file to upload. Okay, because we are currently in the new program year, and this is the transition part where sometimes some errors could pop up or some messages that your records are invalid. It's because TOPS Pro Enterprise automatically updates with the new program year upon July 1st. So a lot of you could have maybe noticed that on July of 2018, your program year, it's now set to 1819, and maybe your records, they are being filtered out for those records who have activity in the current program year. So you just basically need to, in the wizard, what I'm trying to get here is that in the wizard, there is an option that says allow records to import that are outside of this program year. So any dates in the 17-18 program year, you would need to allow them, so you can check that that option in the wizard, and you will be able to import those records successfully, even though our current program year is set to 1819, but these records yet are from 1718. So there is this special option to enable records to allow records to import, even though they're outside of the program year. It will say not recommended, but in this case, just in this around this time of the year, it is suitable for this to import those records. Okay. I have another question from Matt Statsny. Up until the first or second quarter, the daily attendance was a requirement from a policy standpoint, but that changed early in on and daily was no longer required. That is correct. Thank you so much for addressing that, Matt. I think you have that down. Accumulated attendance works, but I believe it still should be imported on a monthly basis. That is correct. To be in compliance, right? So if you do it at least once a month, that is our recommendation. You can select the category you would like. You can select student update accumulated, but at least do it once a month. So you can have all those hours recorded successfully, and it would create that period of participation. Thank you so much, Matt. Okay, so now going through that import wizard, just follow those steps in the wizard so you can import those files. And then if you have any questions, feel free to call us at tech support. Okay, so remember, importing any records can create new records in your database in TOPS Pro Enterprise, as well as update the existing ones. Now, if you are not using an attendance system, that is no problem because you can still add hours of instruction manually and directly into TOPS Pro Enterprise. For that, remember I was telling you about the electronic entry update form. If you look closely, the very first screen, the very first arrow towards your left, the purple arrow, indicates this black button. And this student and program year information is mostly the demographic record. So if you would go to Records, Students Demographics, and you would double click on any of these student demographic records you have available in your database, you can very well click this button in the blue area across the top and show add entry/update record. And by doing so, you would be starting to fill in a new update form for that individual student and record hours of instruction as well. And if you take a closer look at the second arrow pointing towards the right, it shows you specifically where the class attendance can be added through the electronic update form. Okay, so add update record button, and then enter the amount of hours for attendance under student update accumulated or student update. These would be the two options that are selected through the update record. And that is also on a paper form of the update form. The number 11, item 11, you can include hours of instruction right there. It looks like we have another question from Monica Rosas. How will we ensure we are importing to the correct year? That is a very good question. In order for you to know what year your database is set to, you can go to Organization, Agencies, and double-click on your agency's information to open up the record. Once you open up the record and you're in your organization information, then you can see program year, current program year. Everybody should automatically, by default, be on the 18-19 program year. Okay, and if you know that your records are from the 17-18 program year, which would be the previous, you can import those records by allowing or enabling this option called Allow Records Outside of the Current Program Year to Import. Okay, and if you still have questions about that, you are welcome and feel free to contact us so we can help you and provide you that additional assistance on importing records. All right, moving along here, manually entering. You have this other option to take daily attendance in TOPS Pro Enterprise. You would simply go to a specific class instance information. You would go to Organization, Classes, Instances, and double-click on the record on the desired class to open up that record. Once in that class record, from your navigator on left, you would click on Attendance. By doing so, you would open a new record. You can create a new record, and as you can watch closely here on this slide, the attendance record will open up, and you would be able to apply individual hours of instruction for all your enrollees into that class by entering the minutes. I believe this is filled in minutes, so you can check the day that that student attended a couple hours or maybe 1 hour. Okay. Now, checking quality and completeness of your data. And for this, we have the ABG Data Integrity Report. How are you going to get to that? Very simple. Go into TOPS Pro Enterprise, click on Reports menu, and then go down to State Reports, California, and ABG Data Integrity. So every single step is provided on this PowerPoint presentation. So I encourage you to download it and save it onto your records, to your files, so you can follow these steps and go through it, verify the information in there. All right, so reports, state reports, California, AEBG Data Integrity. Once you open up the data integrity, a screen like this, similar like this, will open up. And these would have different information about it. I would just change the common filters. And again, talking about the program year, that our system is automatically updated to the 18-19 program year. I would just be very specific and select the common filters. Program years. Under common filters, there's these program years, and these are the program years that your data has been collected through TOPS Pro Enterprise. So I would just select the 17-18 program year. And as you can notice, underneath those dates, you'll have this programs box where automatically the program areas will be selected. And there are 9 program areas, as you can see. So these checkboxes will automatically appear when running the ABG data integrity. So just make sure that you're choosing the year that you are reporting for, which is 17-18, and then click the Generate button to generate your report. All right. Following along, the summary information will include the total amount of students who are enrolled in the students in the services section and that they have received some services. Now, the second line in here will show you the students who receive services but are not enrolled in a class. It will show you the total amount of those students. And here, if you can see the ones marked in that purple box, this will show you those students who achieved outcomes but are not necessarily enrolled in an ABG program. You can certainly and very well enroll these students in any of the ABG programs in order to claim the outcome. You can do that. You can just enroll them on program, and you can click on the number to verify that list of who those students are. Okay, we have another question. How are those students found? Well, once you run your data integrity report, ABG DIR, you can click on the number to verify a list of those students. It says here, I'm experiencing an ongoing glitch with sections 03B saying this information is missing when they are indeed designated in TE in the student records. I've reached out to tech support but haven't heard back. Do you know what the issue is? I have not looked at that those items yet, but I will personally look into it and will give you a response back. Please type in your email address in the chat pod so I can get back to you. And what is your agency ID also? Okay, so I can verify those records with you. Okay, got your email. Thank you. Okay, let's see. All right. All right, folks. Thank you so much for all your questions. Moving along here with our next slide, this one will give you the breakdown on those items who are most, well, I would say all items are important, but items 1 through 9 are required elements that if they're missing for some reason, then you could be affecting some outcomes on your entire database, right? The rest of the items, the 10 through the 25B, these would reflect totals on the whole overall amount of records on your database, including the items that are missing or missing key information on them. You can very well drill down on those records by right-clicking or just single-clicking on them. You can click on the item and get to the student records to add or edit any of their information. All right, following along here, what's next? Okay, now your agency's data is now inside TOPS Pro Enterprise. In your database, we got your data is there. And now you have added any missing data. Let's just pretend, or let's just think that you have corrected all your items and they look good and everything looks great based on your ABGDIR report. What is next? Well, now generate a new ABGDIR by you going to the reports menu again, generate it for the 17-18 program year, and then export it as a PDF. Okay. Once you have your PDF file exported and generated into your computer, you can attach it into an email and send it over to aabg@casas.org, which is the designated email address to receive ABG data integrity reports for all those ABG-funded agencies. Okay, and then also include your designated consortium data manager in your email so they can also receive a copy of your ABG DIR. Okay, I have other questions here. Looks like they're having the same issues that Jay Gaither was discussing. So please go ahead and enter your email as well so I can address each individually and verify your database. Make sure that we help you on clarifying these items and figure out what is going on with the system. Let's see, I have another question. Check to make sure that for those students that in their demographic history, the record date is in the school year you are working in. Okay, thank you so much, Sherry Farwell. That is a very good observation. Of course, you've got to make sure that those records have data in the current program year. And now Elsa just checked for all pertinent information, but still remains an item not qualified for ABG. All right, Elsa, let me write down your name. I can contact you as well. We can set up an appointment. And for those of you who have been trying to contact CASA's tech support and have been getting a busy signal, I really appreciate your
Martha?
Martha, we've lost your audio. You may have pushed a mute button.
I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for letting me know. I was talking about. I hope you got that. Generating the DIR again and export it as a PDF and then attach it to an email. So I was talking about these questions that are having some issues with your DIR because we have multiple participants here in the training. I would like to address each individual case to address their special circumstance. And if you can, please fill in your email address in the chat pod. Veronica, would I have a copy of the chat pod so I can verify the emails?
Yes, I'll
Oh,
send it to you.
thank you so much. Okay, folks, so please, for those of you who need an appointment, we can definitely address you individually. Please type in your email and I will get get back to you on your DIR so we can help you clarify those items. I see another question from Monica. Do you know of any supporting documentation that needs to be attached to DIR for end of year on the quarters 1, 2, or 3? Well, for this data submission deadline on August 1st, the only thing you need to send in is the data integrity report. A lot of agencies also like to generate the ABG tables, but that's not a requirement. As long as you send the data integrity report, or AEBG DIR, to the email address that appear on your screen, abg@casas.org, then you should be able to fulfill your requirements for this end of year data submission. Okay, this recording will be available on the ABG website as soon as it's converted and posted in there. Right, Veronica?
That is correct. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you. So yes, later on this afternoon, Veronica, she's really good at posting the recordings. All right, folks. So last but not least, our tech support email address appears on your screen. You can commit this email to your memory, folks. techsupport@casas.org. Please send in any questions, any technical questions about the software, how to run the reports, and further information about your items. And if you'd like to set up an appointment with any of our tech support customer service representatives, please send them to techsupport@casas.org. Well, except the ones that have already provided you. I'll contact you. But this is also the phone number that you can reach us at, 1-800-255-1036, option number 2 for tech support. This phone number can address several team members that are constantly providing technology support to all of our ABG agencies and in general all agencies as well. All right, folks. So let's see what I'm missing here. Okay, anybody can have access to the recording and also to the chat. So thank you so much for attending. Is there any other questions that I haven't addressed? Okay, so I have another question, I think, from Kathy. We currently are unable to do online testing because our test session template is no longer there. It shows ABE instead of intake pretest or post-test. That is a very good question. Well, that comes along with the change in program year. There is this wizard, this batch replicating wizard that you can batch replicate your testing sessions, and please enter your email. I'll contact you personally to help you do this batch replication wizard and have your same, if you liked your sessions from last year, you can simply batch replicate the exact same sessions with the same configurations into the new program year. All right, so it says we are having missing info and glitches too. Can you connect with Virginia Matthews? Of course, of course. I will definitely send her an email. I will connect with Virginia and address your issues with TE. Cecilia Sarbarso, I have your agency ID and your email address. Of course, I will verify and connect with you as well. All right, folks. There's something that Casas did for us last year. Okay, yeah, I can continue doing it this year, of course. No problem. All right, folks. Well, if there are any other questions before we go, you're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. So that is it on my end. I really appreciate your attendance and your participation. I thank you so much. And we will be in contact to address your glitches here so everybody can make it safely to this data submission deadline coming up next on August 1st. All right. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you, Veronica and Melinda, for all your assistance.
Thank you, Martha, and thank you everyone for participating in today's webinar. As I posted in the chat, the recording as well as the webinar PowerPoint presentation and the CASAS NRS tables will be posted on the AABG website under the student reporting section. In addition, we do have Jay Wright from CASAS who will be conducting another webinar next Wednesday, July 18th at 12 o'clock noon, and he'll be taking a deeper dive also in preparation for the upcoming August 1st reporting deadline. I am about to close this webinar, and when I close it, please be sure to take a minute or two to fill out the evaluation. It's very important for us to receive feedback from you all to pass on to Martha. In addition, if you are in need of any other technical assistance or professional development, for example, if there is another CASAS topic that you would like to see a webinar on or anything else, please be sure to let us know and we will be sure to address those in our future technical assistance and professional development planning. Thank you all so much, and I hope everyone have a great day. Goodbye.